Hello folks, I'm the Ghost with Knife, and welcome back to more Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. And today's video is going to be drastically different from the ones we normally do on my channel. As many of you know, I recently came back into Yu-Gi-Oh! After a 12-year hiatus, and since I started the series on the channel, I have just been kind of trying things left and right. I've taken stuff from structure decks, I've taken stuff from packs that I've opened, I've taken stuff from gate campaigns that I've played, and I've just been kind of playing decks here and there kind of willy-nilly with no real purpose other than to, like Zootopia says, try everything. And in doing so, I have found some decks that I really like. I have also found some decks that I really don't like. But one of the things that I've majorly discovered is that Master Duel is very, very hard to progress your account on, because a lot of decks require a lot of super rare and ultra rare tokens to make. And because of this, sometimes I can make a very silly deck that takes way too many resources, and it does not do nearly as well as I want it to for a video. And I spend all this time making it for a video, and it bombs, and I'm just like, I never want to do this again, and I get angry, and it makes me want to quit. And I want to avoid that as much as possible. And this is where you, the fans, come in. You see, today, I'm going to show you a few deck ideas that I have in the back of my mind. Decks that are not finished yet. Decks that you, the fans, could decide if I'm going to actually be playing these or not. Now, I can guarantee you one of these decks I am guaranteed going to play because it's too funny. And at the end of the day, even though I do want to take deck building more seriously, sometimes I just see a meme strategy and I'm like, I have to try it. And one of the decks is guaranteed to be a video on the channel, but it's going to take a while. And while I'm building for that deck, we have other decks that are a little bit closer to being done that could be a little bit more serious. But I want to know if you, the fans, even want to see this, because I'm trying to use my dust as efficiently as possible to make the decks that you guys want to see. So without further ado, let me show you my ideas. And before we get any further, I do want to say that if none of the deck ideas that I have sound entertaining or worth it to you, leave a comment below. Just feel like, hey, these are good ideas, but maybe don't go this direction. Maybe try this instead. And if I veto you in the comments, don't take it personally. There's just some decks I really don't want to play, like a lot of Pendulum decks or Branded. I really don't want to play Branded Despia because that's all I see on the ladder, and it just does not seem like an interesting deck to me. It's what everybody else is playing, and that's just not something I personally want to do. I kind of want to find a more rogue deck that's strong but not as popular. So without further ado, I'm going to give you my ideas, show you around what's going on in my brain, and then let you guys post your comments on what I should do below. So let's get this on. The first deck is one that is guaranteed to get a video in my channel because it's way too damn funny. This is Gunkin Sous Ships, which is essentially a bunch of fire aqua monsters that are boats made of sushi. Yeah, that's the deck. It's sushi boats. That's we're literally doing this. Now, the reason this might take longer to make than usual is because all of the Gunkin Sous Ship cards have to be taken out of master packs, meaning there is no secret pack to get them, meaning I have to spend resources on them for all of the cards that I don't have. And the deck also features a bit of an adventure engine, so I can pull in the adventure packs eventually to get all the cards I need, even though I'm almost positive I had a Water Enchantress and I misread this card and I feel really dumb for getting rid of it now. But yeah, the deck uses an adventure engine to give us a negate with the Griffin Rider, and it uses our Sous Ships to try and make our Super Dreadnought Gunkin Sous Ship, which is a really, really cool card. And we also have a little bit of other nonsense. We've got a Utopic Draco Future we can go into. We also might have a Utopia Double for that fun little combo, and a bunch of other XYZ monsters that I just own. And this is guaranteed, like I said, to be a video on the channel. I just kind of wanted to show you guys the more silly things that I like, and kind of give you just a bit of a sneak peek of a deck we're building towards, so I can build hype for you guys to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna see Sue ships. But yeah, this is going to happen. I just have to finish getting all of the expensive cards for the deck, especially all my Sue ships, which are going to take me super rare resources. Thankfully, the Utopia, it just comes in a structure deck. I just had to grab one of those, and then I gotta grab Utopic Future and Double, but that shouldn't be too hard to get. Everything else on the extra deck I already have. It's just the rest of the core deck that is gonna take some time to get. But yeah, this is the first thing that I'm very excited to get to when we eventually get to it. So let's move on to the things you can actually vote on. But yeah, just be hyped, Sue ships are coming. Now, one of the decks that I actually do not know if I should finish building is this deck, which is very simply a Charmer deck. Charmers are monsters that I'm very familiar with. Familiar possessed, I didn't mean to do that, but yeah. They are old school monsters that are just spellcasters that got a little bit of an actual structure deck in real life, and they've gotten some support. And the idea behind this deck is that it's a spellcaster themed deck that uses floodgates to shut down what my opponent's doing, and then just beat down my opponent with Charmers, which you can do pretty easily with this deck. Now, I know this deck isn't going to be the most competitive. A lot of the cards that I've gotten are just because I've been pulling out of the possessed packs or the Charmer packs because I really want this deck, but there's a part of me that's looking at this and going, should I really finish this? As much as I like the idea of making a Charmer deck, I'm not sure if this is actually worthwhile investment. And I've seen other people have success with this, but I don't know if that's just because they're better duelists or just because they took it to a more casual setting. But yeah, this is the first of the decks. It's a pretty simple deck to understand. There are quite a few rares that I'm gonna have to unfortunately make, like Sue ships, but I'm a little bit closer to this deck than some of the other decks, and I personally kind of really want to play this deck. But yeah, if you're interested in seeing Charmers, let me know about down below. If this is a deck I should avoid, painfully tell me in the comments. Also, one of the big reasons that I'm this deck the way that it is, this is also something I want to play in paper. So if this isn't something I should try in paper or on Master Duel, go ahead and tell me. Anyways, moving on. Okay, so our next deck is one that kind of in the shadows I've been building since the beginning of my account, and that is the Fluffle and Frightfur deck. Now, this is a really cute fusion deck that I saw when I first got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! That I was just like, I have to try it. These are too darn cute. And I saw some videos on it, but I can admit that it's not a deck that I fully understand. Even though I am very close to finishing this deck, I don't know if it's worth it or if it's a deck that I can truly wrap my head around. There's a lot of moving pieces to this deck, and also there's Eldritch because somebody recommended that I try Eldritch in this deck. And I was building it for a different deck anyways. So yeah, Eldritch is here because you can use him to get rid of your toy vendors, which gives you the ability to get cards. There's a big thing to it. But yeah, Fluffles, I'm very close to finishing like I said, but I don't know if I should finish it. If not, I can go ahead and get rid of all of the fusion monsters I have for Dust, which would drastically help me build other decks. But yeah, it's a cheap enough deck that I figured I could try to build it, but it's been something I've been working on for a while and it hasn't finished, and I finally thought to myself, maybe this isn't a great idea. So yeah, Fluffles, Frightfurs, yes, no? Tell me below. So this next list might be a bit of a video spoiler. I don't know when this is going to be released and when the Dark Lords video is going to be released, but I released a video on Dark Lords. I had a session with them because basically I've been kind of collecting these willy-nilly since the beginning of my account just because I really like the artwork on them and I had some free packs and I was like, why not? I don't know what else to pull. I'm essentially brand new to Yu-Gi-Oh! It's stupid. And I wasn't really happy with Dark Lords in the video, and at the end of the session I decided to try and recreate a list for Dark Lords that might be a little bit more viable, might be a little bit more powerful, and give me an incentive to not dust this archetype. However, there are quite a bit of rare cards here, and I could really use the dust. And in order to finish this, I'm going to have to commit more resources that are rather rare. And admittedly, after my first take with the Dark Lords, I don't know if I really should even finish committing to this deck. Like I said, I've seen this deck list in particular do well. I just don't know if it's something that I'm gonna enjoy, and if it's something that even you guys want to see. So yeah, the Dark Lords deck list. Maybe, maybe not. This is the one in particular that I'm hoping I get the most feedback on, because I've seen this deck perform, I just don't know if I want to commit to it. It is a lot of resources that I admittedly really don't want to spend, and if not, I can get rid of all of the really rare Dark Lord stuff and get my dust back and build something else faster. So leave a comment below if I should finish this, or if I should just give up on Dark Lords. Alright, so I know looking at this list, some people are already offended because it's combining two really powerful older archetypes into a very disgusting deck. That's right, it's Eldritch and Alistair the Invoker. It is an invoked Eldritch list. Now, I know Eldritch is not a popular archetype. A lot of people genuinely despise this card, and I built Eldritch with Dragon Maids and I had fun, and I was looking at other archetypes to go alongside Eldritch, and I saw Invoked and I went, come on, it's a match made in heaven. You got Invoked cards for the normal summons, and then you've got Eldritch to beat down people. I can use Zombie World with Doom King and make an absolutely disgusting board. But I started building this, and I got a few of the Alistair cards, and I kind of realized how many resources I'd have to spend if I wanted to finish this deck correctly. And a part of me was just like, what if people really dislike both of these archetypes enough to not want to see them? So yeah, this was an idea of a more quote-unquote toxic build, using two really powerful older archetypes in a very nasty control shell. But I don't know if people really want to see this. I personally want to play it because I'm a terrible person, but I don't know if you guys, the fans, want to see that. So, do you want to see some Invoked Eldritch try to make some people rage quit? Could be a thing we do. If not, I am gonna dust the cards I have now for the Invoker stuff and just hold on to Eldritch for later. Because I definitely want to keep playing Eldritch because I'm playing them with Dragon Maids. But yeah, Invoked Eldritch. Maybe, maybe not. And for our last deck idea, this is gonna be a bit of a gate spoiler. The last deck that I was considering is Dino Mist. Now, let me explain. I don't like pendulum decks. I hardly understand how they work, and I am fully aware this isn't a complete competitive Dino Mist list. However, I was looking at this deck, and after the gate, I found out how cheap this deck is to make, and a lot of the cards I want to run anyways, I pretty much already own. A lot of the cards on the extra deck I don't necessarily need to pick up, but some of these cards are just pretty good. Like Stealth Kraken is a pretty powerful XYZ monster. I don't need it, but I could go into it. Bahamut Shark, I'm pretty sure I picked up one of these and I just dusted it on accident because I wasn't thinking. But this is really powerful alongside the Ribarian Shark, and I could just grab those two and maybe the Utopia double or nothing package that I want for a different deck anyways, and just finish the deck with that. But the main idea behind the Dino Mist deck was it's a incredibly cheap deck to make in general, and I mean, it's a pendulum deck. It'll give me more experience with an archetype or a deck type that I'm very uncomfortable with, and maybe give me the ability to play pendulum decks a little bit less timidly. I don't know, but again, I know the Dino Mist aren't necessarily the best pendulum archetype, but there's something comfortable to start with. If we do this deck, it'll be very much, we're doing this because it's cheap, I'm going to take this to casual games, and I'm going to try to understand pendulums through this deck. If it's not worth getting the rest of these really expensive cards, then maybe I'll do this as like a cheapo budget deck later down the line. But yeah, this is the one Pendulum deck that I'm looking at right now and going, maybe I could pull this off. So yeah, Dino Mist, yes, no. Alright, so that is gonna wrap up the deck lists. You've now seen the kind of ideas that I've got going on in my crazy noggin. Which of these are good ideas in your opinion? Which of these are bad ideas? Which of these are exciting? Are you as excited to see Sue ships as I am to play them? Go ahead and tell me in the comments below. And if none of these ideas seem any good to you, then leave your own in the comments. Give me something to look into. I will ask you try to avoid like top meta decks like Branded Despia. Not only do I just see those decks really often and makes me not want to play it, but those decks could be hit by a ban list before I can even get done building the list. So yeah, let's avoid the really top tier decks that are really popular, and maybe we can do something a little bit more rogue meta. I've heard Dynamorphia is a pretty good deck. I just don't know what the hell it does. Maybe you guys want to see me build a raw deck with all the raw packs. Maybe you want to see Springans because they have a secret pack for a few more weeks. Tell me in the comments below. Anyways, thank you for tuning in, folks. I hope you enjoyed this little thought experiment. I hope you leave a comment down below on all your wacky ideas, and I will see you in the next video.